Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and today I want to show you how I made some of these little corset, little ephemera. I'm trying to make like a sewing theme journal kit, and I decided I wanted to go ahead and make some ephemera and stuff. So today I made these little corsets, and I kind of got the idea of like double them and layering them up from Scrap Cozy on YouTube. And so I kind of borrowed her techniques and created these little things. And so here's one of them. And basically all I did was, this comes from a digital Vintage Vibes paper company on Etsy. And there are several sheets that came in that kit, the corset kit. But I only printed out one from the set. I printed out twice from the set. Anyway, here's what it looks like, and it's like a 3D kind of look. I did some stitching around the edges, added some lace and cheesecloth, stitched on this little, whatever you call it, stitched that on, and added it and gave it some dimension. And you can see the cheesecloth in behind, and some brown paint and stuff, and I'll show you the process video in a little bit, but let me just show you each one of these. They're all pretty much the same. Some of them I did a day or so ago, and then others I did literally like a few hours ago, and the glue on some of them are still wet. Like this one right here, the glue's still wet on that one, but still the same concept. Got the lace, got the stitching, pretty much, you know, same thing. You can add these to your journals, your cards, scrapbooks, even mixed media canvases, different things like that. So let me go ahead and show you how I made these. Okay, so first what I did was I printed out 2 copies of the corsets, and I got them from Vintage Vibes Paper Company on Etsy. And they're very, very pretty. So you're going to need double. And I only did like basically one sheet of it, but they have several sheets that come in the set. But I went on ahead and I cut 2 pair of them out. So basically what you're going to do, and I learned this technique that I'm getting ready to show you. I learned it from Scrap Cozy. She did like a journal layout, but I'm using the same techniques that she did when she layered some of her stuff in her journal. So you're just going to cut straight down the middle part of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and set that one to the side, set that one to the side, and I'm going to do the same thing. And basically what I did was I just printed these out, printed them out twice, and I just cut them out and distressed it around the edges. And I used some archival ink, coffee, but you can use whatever kind. I would recommend using something that's waterproof. You don't want to use like an oxide ink, because you're going to be putting more stuff on, like more water-based things like Mod Podge and actually water, which is what I'm getting ready to do now. I'm going to add some water, and I'm just going to loosen up the fabrics on this, like where I cut it at, because I'm wanting to curl these over. And then when you do that, when you get it wet, you loosen the fibers. And so I'm just kind of loosening the fibers like that. Then I'm just going to kind of curl it over a little bit, and, you know, just to kind of distress it and make it look weathered and torn and curled. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm trying to give it that curled effect. I'm going to do this one the same way, this one that I just got finished cutting. And then I wet it on both sides. To me, it's easier to get it done that way. It bends a whole lot quicker. And then I'm just going to curl that over, because I'm wanting to make like a little kit with like a dress form kind of sewing theme type kit. So I wanted to make these first. And then I'm probably gonna work on some more stuff. Digitals and stuff. I have a few digitals that I'd gotten years ago that I haven't really used. And so I'm gonna try to use some of those. I'm gonna make some little kits and stuff. Okay, so now that we got both of those done, now we're just gonna take a little bit of brown ink, and you can use whatever kind you have. This is just some basic acrylic ink from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to get just a dab of that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges of the whole corset. I'm just going to lay it down. And I'm going to get, especially like in the areas where it's cut. And then I'm just going to lay it flat. And then just try to kind of go around the edge. You don't have to try not to put too much paint on there, but just enough to kind of go around your edge. To me, the paint does a little bit better than like the ink. I mean, the ink is okay too if I use maybe a darker color, but I wanted this. I don't have the color inks that are in the color set that's darker. So that's when I'm just going to use this brown acrylic ink. And set that one to the side, and we've got that. And I'm going to do this one the same way, real easy. Yeah, I've been trying to watch different channels so I can learn different techniques on making stuff. And I came across I came across Scrap Cozy years ago, but I have so many videos in my watch list that I have well over 200 videos, and there's no way I can sit and watch every single one of them, and I've forgotten about it. And when I Googled Corset, or I don't know, I Googled something. But anyway, her video popped up, and then that's when I saw one of her journal layouts that she made. And it was like a mixed media journal layout. And this is the same type technique she used. But she used fusion. She didn't use this ink, but I don't have any fusions. So like I said, just use what you have. But you can still use the same technique using different mediums. So this is what I have to work with. Okay. So here's that. So let me get this paint up. Well, actually, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be layering these. So, let's see. While I've still got the paint, I'm just going to put some paint on this one in the back because it's going to become like a shadow. Just enough because, and it's going to have like contrasting colors. I needed like a dark and a contrasting other dark color, so that when you put this over top of it, it'll look like a shadow. But I'm also going to be using some cheesecloth, which I'll show you in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. You could actually do these in batches, which is what I've done some of them already in batches. But I just wanted to show you the process of how I do this. So we got that. Okay, so now I'm going to get some cheesecloth. Actually, I'm going to get more than just one piece of cheesecloth. I'm going to be putting some cheesecloth in behind here, and also up underneath here. So let me see. I'm gonna cut 4 pieces, 2 for the bottom, and then 2 for the top part. And I'm gonna dye them using my ink. I'm gonna be using some of this Distress spray stain. And the top part, obviously, I just need like a small piece. But the bottom one, I need a larger piece. So let's see if I can get a little piece off of here. Let's slide these over. And actually, I'm going to go ahead, before I spray these, I'm going to take some of this Mod Podge, and I'm going to go around the cut part of the corset, and I'm going to let it air dry because I want it to become strong and sturdy and like stay in place. So I'm going to put some, basically the same places that I put the water is where I'm also going to put the Mod Podge, because once it dries it becomes hard and sturdy, and that's what I'm wanting, because I don't want it to tear, because I'm going to be doing some stitching in a little while. So just kind of put it back in shape. Just kind of bend it. Once it starts to dry a little bit, it's easier to make it, to make the form a little bit better. But right now, while it's still kind of wet, it's, well, it'll still turn. I can get it to roll over a little bit. I'm going to do this one the same way. Just add a little bit of this Mod Podge. And notice I'm putting it even up near like the shoulder part, because I need it to be sturdy. I'm going to be layering these with some mounting tape. So I want to make sure that this upper part is pretty sturdy. You don't need like a whole lot of Mod Podge, but I'm just putting some on there to make sure it's tough. And like I said, I'm going to be stitching through some of these, and I'm going to let this air dry probably for a few hours, because I want to make sure it's good and sturdy. Okay, so let me just slide these over some. So while I'm waiting on these to dry, okay, so I'm going to take these pieces of cheesecloth and the Distress Spray Speckled Egg by Tim Holtz Ranger. And we're just going to color the cheesecloth. And then I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to dry it with this so it can get done quicker. Okay, then I'm going to take the smaller ones for the background, and I'm going to take the Mod Podge again, and we're going to add the Mod Podge and the smaller cheesecloth to the back, and this is going to show through the corset. As we layer it, you'll be able to see this through the corset, the upper corset. So I'm just going to put this on here. And I'm putting Mod Podge on the back and on the top part of the cheesecloth, because I want to make sure it's going to stick. The good thing about Mod Podge, once it dries, it seals everything. So you're good as far as like worrying about, is it going to glue or stick good, because Mod Podge, once it's dried, sticks, and everything sticks really well. It just takes forever and a day to dry. And like I said, I got this idea from Scrap Cozy. Yeah, she's got a lot of great videos using similar techniques. But what she did with hers, I printed out my corset, And her images that she used, she stamped. So, but it's still basically the same thing. She stamped twice, whereas I printed mine out twice. My little corsets. So, like I said, I'm trying to check out other channels just to see what kind of little ideas I can come up with. There's so many of them. Like, I have such a long to-do craft list. Like, there's just not enough time in a day to get it done. But there are so many things I've seen that I love and I want to try. But I just don't have the time between working and being a mom and everything. It's just, I don't always have a lot of time to do stuff. All right, so we're going to let these dry. And, okay, so these are the back parts of them. And for those, oops, for the fronts, like I said, I'm going to be putting cheesecloth like behind this, but I want to find some cute what do you call this, doilies or something. So I've got this, it's a tablecloth, it's a doily tablecloth, and I'm just going to get some images from here, or shapes from here. And let's see, let me just cut this loose. And I'm going to stitch them together. So basically what I'm going to be doing, I'll just put this on top. This is going to go over top like that. I can go ahead and just, instead of using Mod Podge, I think I'm going to use art glitter glue, because I need it to go ahead and stick quicker. Let's see. And I'm just going to add some more glitter glue here, because what I'll do later after the glue completely dries is, let me see, let me put this on here like this. I'm going to stitch going across, but I want to first let the glue dry. So I'll put this here. And then I'm just going to kind of curl this back and make it look like it's a skirt or a dress or something, you know. Just have to kind of tease it a little bit and put it in the shape you want it. Like I said, when it dries, I'll stitch it. So let me set that to the side. And then I'm going to do this one the same way. Let me find like a cute little piece of this doily. And I like to find the shapes that kind of go down, that form like a, not like a, well, kind of like a V shape. It comes down in the middle. I like that. So that's why I'm trying to cut little pieces that are shaped like that. So I'm just going to glue this on, and I'm going to let these dry, and then I'll be right back, because I'm going to be doing some hand stitching. I'm going to be stitching going up through here on the front part of the corset. So I'm going to glue all this together, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now these are dry, and I'm just going to take them to the sewing machine and stitch it a little bit. And here we have it. I'm going to do the other one like that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've got these stitched on here, and this is dry. Everything's dry as far as the Mod Podge and stuff on both of these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Fapito leather wax thread, and you could really use any type of thread, but this is what I happen to have. This is what I use for my journals. So I'm going to, the same way you sew a journal or a journal signature, you leave the little piece of thread on one end, and then you have a much longer one on the other end. And as far as how much thread you need, I just kind of estimated, really this is actually too long. I'm going to cut like a little small piece of this off. I didn't really measure it. I just kind of, because I'm not going up real far, probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, no more than like 5 times going up and down as far as like the length of the string. I don't know. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down in here, which is a little bit further down from where the cut is. And I'm going to pierce the hole because it's kind of hard to get it started, but I'm going to come in from the back way. But I just pierced the hole so I can kind of see where to start at. But I'm going to come back through back here and try to get it through that same hole. If I can see. Well, it's not at exactly that same spot that I was wanting, but that's fine. So I'm just going to come on through. And I'm leaving a little bit back here in the back. And I'm just going to kind of hold it with my finger. And then I'm going to come across to this other little old piece where you can already see where a makeshift hole is made or printed. And I'm just going to come back through. And then on the back, I'm going to, the same way you do with sewing, I'm just going to like sew this back in here again. I'm going to come back through. I'm going to go to one of the bottom ones actually. If I can get it in there, if I can line it up right. Just be really careful when you're doing that so you don't cut yourself or pierce yourself. It's kind of close to where that hole is, but not 100%. I'm just going to come on back through. And then what I just did was I sealed this. Now, some of the other ones I made, I put tape on it just to kind of tape it down and seal it. And then I eventually put Mod Podge on it. So they're still locked in place. But as I started making these, I decided why not just sew it the normal way, like with a knot. Then I'm going to come back across right here. And I'm just going to sew, slow stitch my way back up. I'm going to come back through that same hole that I'd already pierced through. And then I'm going to like go crisscross up here. So I'm coming from here to up here. We're going to start doing some crisscross stitching. If I can get the thread to go in. So we got our first one. And sometimes the thread comes out of your needle. It's fine. You can just, the good thing about doing it like this is you can always add it back in there. If I can see. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be coming back from the back way. I'm going to go back down. I'm going back down to this one, coming back in here. I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm going to go to this one right here. That way it matches that one. So I'm just going to come back over in here. And now we've got that one. And I'm going to repeat the process. So I'm going to come back down to this one in the back. I can see where I put it through. Come back through here on the same side. And then we're going to go up to the next one. Crisscross on over to the next one. And we're just going to repeat that process. And I kind of messed up right here, but that's okay. All right, and so that's good right there. That's as far up as I need to go. So I'm just going to try to secure this by just kind of threading this in the back to make it a little bit stronger and secure, to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to be adding Mod Podge to it in a little while. But first I'm just trying to stitch these like in a knot to where they're not going anywhere. They're secure. Okay, and now I'm just going to cut it. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this excess fabric that I thought I had gotten, but I didn't cover it up good enough. So if you have any excess hanging over, you can always just cut it or glue it down, whichever, you know, or you could leave it if you like it, but I didn't want that there. So now what I'm going to do is I want to take my remaining thread, and what you could do if you're good at tying knots with small string is you could have just left an opening of these two right here, but I'm not good at tying knots like with small string, so I have to create my own bow. So that's what I'm going to do. I have to do it with long string because I have a very hard time tying knots with really small string. So I'm going to create my own little makeshift bow that I'm going to put on there. So I just make sure these are good and tight. And then I'm going to make it a little bit smaller by pulling the string. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut it. And I'm going to glue it on here. But first, let me try to curl this back over and, you know, kind of contort it a little bit at the opening. It's good and stiff now because I added that Mod Podge, and once the Mod Podge completely dried, it helps it maintain its shape. So it's pretty stiff and secure. So we're going to put this bow up next to where the opening is. And I'm going to first use art glitter glue, but later I'm going to come back through and use some Mod Podge. Let me find my art glitter glue. got my stuff all over the place. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here so that it'll stay. Because the next step that I'm going to do is I added kind of a lot of art glitter glue on here because I want to make sure it stays in place while I'm getting ready to do the next step. You might want to wait like maybe a couple of minutes to let that dry. So while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now what we're getting ready to do is we're going to flip these over. We're going to pair these with their match, and they're going to be going on top of each other like that. But we're going to use some mounting tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mounting tape and then just kind of, hold on, let me cut a little piece of this off. I'm just going to start from the shoulder part of it and come on down piece by piece around the bottom of the corset. And this is just some mounting tape that I got from Dollar Tree. It's nothing special. You can use whatever you have, whatever type of mounting tape you have. Or if you don't have mounting tape, you can use maybe some cardboard and just glue it so it'll lift up. Basically, it's just, I'm just using this mounting tape to give it some lift. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that this is on all the way. Then we're just going to peel, I heard something fall. We're just going to peel this off the back sides of the mounting tape. If you've got some tweezers, that would probably help. Let's see. Because my nails are not very sharp right now, so in some way tweezers will probably do a little bit better job. Well, maybe not, I don't know, because I'm not getting it. I guess my nails will work. And then we're going to be adding some Mod Podge to this. So this is going to be very sturdy once it's completely dry. Alright, so we've got all that back tape off of there. And I'm just going to take a brush and some Mod Podge. And I'm going to add some Mod Podge to the parts in the middle. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that this sewn thread isn't going to lift up. So I just want to make sure it's good and secure. And it also just makes the overall bodice of the corset stronger. And then we're just simply going to place it over top of the other corset. Just line it up and place it over top. And you can reshape it if you need to. But that way you can see, like you have your shadow back there that way. You can see this little, the blue, what do you call it? Cheesecloth. And you can reshape it if you feel like you need to. I'm trying to reshape it just a little bit. You know. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Mod Podge on this front part as well. Like on top of the thread. And once it dries, it'll become hard and sturdy and you don't have to worry about it moving. So once again, we're going to do the same thing. Let me wipe up some of this glue. We're going to take this other one. I'm going to add some mounting tape. Just going across the outline of the corset. I'm just tearing mine. You can cut it if you like, but to me it's quicker doing it this way. And then we're going to be adding some Mod Podge. I love to give stuff a 3D effect. To me, it just brings it to life a little bit more. 2D is okay too, and just flat it's okay as well, but I don't know, I love to have things like this added to my journal. Alright, so we've got that, and now we're going to add a little bit of this Mod Podge, covering up some of those sewn areas. So that they're good and thick, and we're going to do the same, repeat the same process. We're going to put this over top. I think I got the right one. Yeah, if I didn't, it's too late now. I thought I had the wrong bodice or corset, matching corset, because I've made a few more prior to these two that I just showed you, because I wanted to practice, and so I cut out several sets, and some of them look similar to each other, and I was hoping that I didn't actually mismatch. But I think this is going to work. So I like that. I like the contrasting colors. You can see the browns and the blues and the grays. So we're going to add a little bit of Mod Podge. And this is just making sure that the string isn't going to come up. It's not going anywhere. So once those dry, then the project is complete. So that's what we have so far. And you can add these to your journals, scrapbooks. You could even do some mixed media canvases. Just do all kinds of stuff with these things. But I hope that this idea was inspirational and fun. And check out Scrap Cozy, that video, that channel. That's where I learned this technique from. Like I said, I've got like a whole vault of videos to watch and learn, but I don't have enough time. There's not enough time in a day to watch all those different videos that I love. There's so many ideas out there that you just have to pick and choose what you want to do that day. So, but yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please check out my other videos and my blog and social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much.